Well, connecting the dots tonight, the damage, as Allison pointed out, is still staggering. But what if I told you long-term for China, it won't be? Donald Strassheim says that it is the case. Don, of course, the vice chairman at Roth Capital Partners. He knows this region extremely well. Jeremy Half says, thanks to America, China will pull out of it. Jeremy is the author of the book, All the Tea in China, How to Buy, Sell, and Make Money in the Mainland. Gentlemen, welcome. Don, to you first. Play it out for me the next few days, weeks, as far as the reverberations from this.
Well, Neil, the first thing I think people need to remember is this was a one-time event, a tragic event, but a one-time event. It's not the start of a new era. A lot of casualties, but this occurred in a highly mountainous, at about a 10 or 12,000 foot level in Sichuan province. The circumference of damage is really quite small. The whole of Sichuan province only produces a few percentage points of all of the exports that go to America, perhaps, from China. Their economy is going to do fine. When Katrina hit here in New Orleans a few years ago, we didn't shut down the New York Stock Exchange. Nothing new happened in Seattle or Chicago at that event. And China's trying to attend to the injured, but continue business as usual. I think that's really quite appropriate.
Jeremy, what do you think of that?
I agree, and I actually think that despite the fact that this is a horrible tragedy, there's a silver lining for American companies as China seeks to rebuild Sichuan province, as it builds its hospitals, its roads, its water treatment facilities. It's going to need to import most of the value-added goods and services it needs to do that, and that's going to be a huge boon for American exporters.
You know, one thing that struck me, Don, is the openness of the Chinese in not only showing these images, relaying these images, but trying to conduct business throughout these images. In other words, keeping the markets open, trying to keep things on pace for the Olympics. What do you think of that?
Well, I think, again, I don't think this is really any surprise, Neil. This was a natural disaster, and the government is not really culpable. Now, 2 months down the road, a month down the road, when China is in the process of reconstruction and redevelopment, and we find that there's been mismanagement of one sort or another, then the government, controlled news, will have an interest in spinning that in their own best interest. But right now, it doesn't hurt them at all to show what has happened, the damage, and it helps to mobilize public opinion and support for their rescue efforts.
Yeah, if you think about it, attention has been taken off the Darfurs and the Myanmars when this has happened. It's odd, but that's the media. Jeremy, the view here is that because this was 900 miles or so southwest of Beijing, China effectively did dodge a bullet. I mean, it took a hell of a bullet, but it dodged a much worse one. What do you make of that?
Well, it sure did, and it's not that far away from the Three Rivers Gorges Dam project. So it did dodge a bullet. A lot of American firms are actually based in Sichuan. You got Coca-Cola, you got PepsiCo, Motorola, and others. So Intel, which is also facing some difficulties. So yeah, I would say that a big bullet was dodged.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you both, and also for your calm insight.